yung tinatawag na yung CCDC sa radyo. So we had an impromptu meeting for us to talk about how we're going to divide ourselves into different kung ano yung mga topics and even for the time. So yun. However, just to give you a glimpse for the photography, no, sa photography, ang theme po ng middle high school is women empowerment, because yesterday was we celebrated yesterday the women tawag natin doon yung women Women's Month, International Women's Month, no? We had International Women's Month yesterday. So, even meron tayong mga boys dito na nagjo-join, no? It's International Women's Month. So, ano ba pwede nating i-photograph for Women's Month? You can take photographs of your mother, your aunts, your ate, your manang, your lola, and trying to see how empowering women they are, no? Let's say for example, if you have a mother who is really a very hardworking mother na natsambahan yung nagtratrabaho, naggagarden, tapos in action na naggagarden, then you can take a photo of it at maybe submit it to me. Again, for your section kasi kayo lang yung CND yung handle ko. I encourage that one to be sent to my email kasi para hindi i-compress ni Facebook. Pag sinend nyo kasi sa Messenger, it will be compressed by Facebook and the resolution will go low. So, bababa yung resolution, ipapangit yung kan. But anyway, no, I'm still looking for judges for aside from me to judge the photos that you have, and at the same time you'll be having a caption on there. So we'll be having that one until maybe days before the end of March, kasi sa April 5 we'll be announcing the winners for that one. So yun, virtual na po parang virtual na yung nagiging Festival of Talents natin. Alright, can I hear voices? Are you still there? Kasi baka I'm just speaking here and nobody, I was disconnected kasi may problema kasi talaga kami sa internet. It's always disconnecting. Am I still with you? Do you hear what?
Yes, sir.
Alright, right. Thank you for responding. Now, as I mentioned last Friday, dapat meron tayong discussion. Tapos, because me being very busy also, having my niece, yung debut niya for last Sunday, that I was so busy that I wasn't able to make a video out of it. Kaya pa ba? Kaya ba yung kwan? Kasi I was thinking, skip natin yung topic na yon o we still go through with that topic, but then I'm just going to record myself for you just to watch, or we proceed with the last few lessons for us today. Anong gusto nyo? The lesson that I skipped actually was about genetics. However, that genetics will be talked about again on grade 9 sa inyo. But, mas maganda pag meron kayong konting background doon. So, what would be the consensus or the decision of the group? Should I make a video out of it, then make an activity out of it, or should we skip it? Ano yung gusto nyo? Medyo komplikado kasi ang genetics. Anybody would like to share to us your idea? Yes, Miss Lianyo? Ano yung video? Alright, sige. Mayroong nagsabing video. Anybody who has a decision, otherwise decision, or an opposite decision about it? Hello? Meron ba na mag-oppose sa decision ni Miss Lianyo? Kasi gagawin ko rin yung mechanics ng photography that I'll be making a poster out of it for you to follow, submit when and what are the criteria for judging and what device are you going to use. But just to give you heads up, cellphone lang po yung gamit natin para hindi unfair sa mga iba na merong mga DSLR. I will know kung cellphone yung ginamit nyo or hindi because of the metadata of the photos that you are taking. Meron yung mga data. Alright, so much with that one. I think I'm again, at least at this very last day that we'll be having, we have a very good number. At least minus ni Shaq, but we are 16 in this group. So let me just maybe proceed, and later on have some few words at the end of this discussion. So I'm skipping I'm skipping for a while the genetics because we'll be proceeding with this activity that we'll be having right now. The topic that we'll be having right now, which is science, the lesson 30 until 39. If you have your, tawag nito, if you have your modules with you, it's better for you to have it beside you for you to kasi meron akong activity for this one na hindi nakita sa module, no, that I'll be sending parehas din ng mga worksheet na nagagawa nyo. Alright? May I know if you get to see my screen? Kikita nyo ba screen ko?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alright, sige. No, will be, I think, 30 to 37 ba or 30 to 39. I'm not sure kung ilang lessons pala yung nagawa ko dito. Alright. Just to give you a few reminders, no, this is already 4th quarter. We will officially end on March 12. It's already March 9 today. So how many days left? We only have 3 more days. Now, just to give you a heads up for those who haven't passed their anything from the first until this very time, sana mag-pass na kayo. Kasi 4th quarter yan and we have different grade class records for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Now, just to give you a heads up, no, for example, meron kayong 1st and 2nd lang, wala kayong 3rd and 4th, it will not give you a very good chance of you having a passing mark for it. Kasi then again, we'll be having an average of all the 4 quarters that you have. Miss activity should be submitted as soon as possible. Alright? So, send it to me. Some others are asking, yung iba kasi naghihintay na isang buo ang bagsak daw at the end. Pero, I don't know with you, pero that's the reason why we have the course guide for you to be able to follow the scheduled submission for it, no? So, dapat sana yung mga first quarter activities, first quarter nyo pinasa. Yung second quarter nyo pinasa. Ganun. But I get to understand if you're doing it that way, sige, tingnan natin. Just make sure that hindi ito ginawa nyo ng last minute na nagmumukhang hindi worthy na i-check or something that does not reflect you. Ganun, no? Na ay, nila last minute mo or makikita ko later on yung ginawa ni ganito, parehas ng ginawa ni ganito. Alright? I will always know. Alright. Now, for your performance task, as I mentioned last time, no? Because this is the lesson that we'll be talking right now. Then again, pine tree seedling sana, but some others are asking about other seedlings, no, aside from pine tree na pwede. Yes, there were some few who sent me a message and I approved. However, there are some also others who are asking about, meron silang pine tree na seedling na, but they don't have any area for them to transplant that pine tree. Alright. Seedlings, I think, is nakapat siya, pero syempre pag nakapat yan and that tree will not spread its roots, it will not be able to grow very well. That's the reason why we always need to find a spot for it to be able to spread the roots and grow very well and grow its potential. Kasi gusto natin yung pine tree natin, hindi yung pandak, no? Yung talagang pine tree na pine tree. Alright? Now, some others are asking, sir, meron ako ditong seedling, nakapat, pero wala akong pwedeng pag-transplantan kasi hindi na ako pwedeng lumayo. Now, if you have the same concerns, you can send that concern to me through private message for us to be able to discuss kung ano ba pwede nating isuggest for us to be able to at least meet halfway about that decision. Alright? Kung let's say for example, next week meron kayong outing tapos punta kayo sa province ng mga grandparents nyo or relatives nyo, then why not bring that seedling there? And sa province, ang rami namang pwedeng pagtamnan doon. Alright, so these are some few reminders. Maybe later on, meron pa akong maisip na mga reminders. Alright, so lesson 30 tayo. I think this is page what here in your module. So it's page 190. Alright? So lesson 30, levels of biodiversity. Before I get to start, are you still there? Nandyan pa rin ba kayo? I want to hear voices. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Alright, thank you very much for responding. Alright, so biodiversity. When you talk about biodiversity, we already know that the word bio means life. Kaya nga sa biology, study of life. Bio means life. So anything that is biotic is something that has life or a living organism. The word diversity, no, when it comes to it came from the word diverse. Alam niyo ba yung meaning ng diverse? Anybody has an idea of what diverse means? Anybody? Meron kayong idea or maybe a rough just a guess? Ano ba yung meaning ng diverse? Anybody? Diversity. Sige na, last discussion na natin. Mag-participate na kayo. If you'd like to just leave your microphones open, then you can, no? Last na ito. We'll not be having any more kwan. Yung isa na lang is pre-recorded na. Anybody? Diverse. From the word diverse, what does it mean? Hello? Diverse. Ano kaya yung diverse? Sige na, yung mga hindi nag-participate since day one, now is the time for you to shine. Hello? Baka na-disconnect na naman ako. Hindi ko nakikita yung screen ko. Hello? Na-disconnect nga siguro ako. Di ba?
No, sir.
Ay, okay. Anybody has an idea of what diverse is?
Sir, pagkakaiba?
Alright, very good. No? Pagkakaiba. Alright. So, biodiversity meaning life na napagkakaiba-iba ng mga life. As you get to see here in this screen that you have, like you get to see right now, variety, meaning variety, pagkakaiba-iba. What the world actually needs is something na magkakaiba-iba, no? Yung mas maraming iba-ibang mga living things, much better for the world to survive. Paano kaya pag yung earth puro tao lang, walang trees, walang animals, wala lahat, puro lang tao. There's no diversity. What do you think would happen if yung earth is puno lang ng tao? Will it survive?
Sir, no.
Alright. That's the reason why, as I mentioned, biodiversity is really very important, and this is the focus of the topic this time. The more diverse life is on Earth, the better for it to be able to become stable, resilient, and survive. Alright? Now, let's get to proceed. The levels of your biodiversity, marami tayong pagkakaiba-iba. We have species diversity, we have genetic diversity, and even ecosystem diversity. Now, for the Philippines, we are really blessed to have around 7,107 islands, pero meron na daw mga bagong na-discover na hindi na 7,107 islands, may nadagdagan na. I don't know what's the exact number. But because of those islands that we have diverse living things that are actually found here in the Philippines, no? Unlike kung nasa desierto ka, ano kayong makikita mo doon? Now, let's get to talk about these different types of your diversity. Alright, species diversity of a community can be described based on the species richness and species evenness. Yung species diversity lang, magkakaiba-iba tayo ng species. Hindi tayo parehas sa mga puno. Tayong mga humans, hindi tayo parehas sa mga puno. Tayong human, hindi tayo parehas sa mga aso. We are different species to other living things. And the more different we are from there that exist, no, maraming nabubuhay na magkakaiba-iba, again, will allow the earth to be able to become more stable. Now, it mentioned here about species richness and species evenness. Let's get to see the difference between the two. Species richness is the number of species present. However, for your species evenness is the abundance of each species. Makita natin dito, we have community 1 and community 2, no? Both are actually having the same species richness. Because maraming magkakaiba-iba na mga number, ano, ilan ba dito? May pine tree, sabihin natin ito nara, ito acacia, ito cypress tree, sabihin natin gano'n. So, tingnan natin, actually, yung anong mga nag-i-exist ng mga trees dito, meron din dito. However, their evenness is different from each other from comparing community 1 from community 2. Makita natin itong klaseng tree na ito, here exists here in the other side. Itong ganito na parang pine tree, meron din dito. Ito naman na parang mukhang ice cream, nandito din. Tapos, saan pa ba yung magkakaiba-iba? So, yung nag-exist dito, meron din sa community 1, meron din sa community 2. However, the evenness is different because if you get to see, itong klaseng puno na ito, no, let's say for example, this is your acacia. No? It has 1, 2, 3 dito, pero dito nag-iisa lang. Ito naman parang mukhang ice cream. 1, 2, 3, 4 dito, pero dito ang dami sa kabila. Tapos, if you get to see here the pine tree, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Dito dadalawa lang. So you get to see that community 1 is actually more even compared to community 2. But when you talk about the richness, kung ano man yung mga klase ng mga trees na meron dito ay meron din sa community 2. Parehas yung richness nila, pero magkakaiba yung evenness nila. Alright, questions before I get to proceed? Anybody? Questions?
No, sir.
Alright. Sige, let's proceed. We have different also classifications of our species, no? We have what you call the term indigenous. We have endemic and invasive, all right? When you talk about indigenous, have you ever encountered that term before? Indigent, indigenous. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Alright, saan ba natin ginagamit yung mga indigenous or terms na yan, or indigent terms na yan? If you get to see, no, like for example, if you're applying for like scholarships or yung mga 4Ps, no, they say that you need to be coming from an indigent tribe. Now they say that Igorots, no, the Cordillerans, Igorots, Kankanais, Ibaloys, ethno-linguistical differences, no? Indigent tayong mga Igorots because we're just medyo yung talagang native sa lugar na ito, and they say that usually yung mga indigent medyo sila yung mga nahihirapan sa kwan, kaya yun yung sinabi lang indigent. But simply when you talk about indigent, it's actually just the native species. Alright? Ano ba mga native na mga species na nandito sa Pilipinas? Marami actually, no? Meron tayong mga kalabaw na indigent dito sa Pilipinas na meron sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Ano pa bang mga species na meron tayo dito na spread all throughout the different archipelago that we have? Alright? So native. Pag nasabi nating native, talagang nandito sila sa atin since the time na hindi pa tayo nag-exist, nandito na sila. Indigent. When you talk about endemic, have you ever even heard of this word endemic? Endemic species. Because later on I get to ask you, ano ba mga sample ng mga endemic species na meron tayo dito? Kasi it says here, it's only found in a specific region or country. Now, endemic. Specific only for the region and country. Anybody has an idea? Ano kayang mga sample ng mga endemic na species natin dito? Anybody would like to give us example? Yung mga siguro alam nyo na, baka hindi ko rin alam, kat I get to learn from you also. Any species that you get to know that only lives in a certain specific region na hindi natin makikita sa mga ibang countries or ibang regions? Have an idea? Anybody is there aside from those two who are actually always responding to me? Because I know that some of you are just joining and even just leaving their phones on. However, absent dyan, no? If I get just a request you to turn on your camera sana. But I don't want to invade your privacy for that. I'd like you to at least this last discussion that we'll be having, that you'll be active in participating. Any idea or any guess of you knowing a certain like species that exists only in a specific region or country? Meron ba?
Sir, tarsier.
Alright, tarsier. Right. Tarsier is considered as an endemic na species, which is true. However, kasi sinabi na specific region or country, where can we find tarsiers? Saan sila known to exist?
Bohol.
Alright, very good. Bohol, no? If you have been to Bohol, you get to see tarsiers there, no? Kasi we had an educational field trip when I was in college, that we went to Bohol and were able to go to the conservation area of where tarsiers are just living, no? Nandyan. So you get to see tarsiers here and there and everywhere. They're just so very quiet, small primate that just hangs on the sides or the trunks of the trees. Ayun. So, yun. Tama, no? Only kasi usually tarsiers are only found in Bohol. Alright? So that's a really very good example and one example that you have here in your module. Anybody has an idea? Meron pa bang mga iba? Tayong mga meron kayong ibang alam na mga species that exist that may only live or in specific region or country?
Sir, does
Philippine eagle, sir?
tamaraw?
Tama raw. So, alright. Alright, sige, isahin natin. Merong nagbigay ng idea about Philippine eagle and we have also the tamaraw. Now, tamaraw is true, is also considered as an endemic. Saan natin sila nakikita? On what specific region or country or place here in the Philippines that tamaraw exists? Tama, kasi yun nga.
Sir, Mindoro.
Very good, Mindoro. Alright. Meron din nagsabi about like the eagle. Alright. The eagle, where can we actually find those Philippine eagle that we have here in the country? Alright, specific sa country ng Philippines. Alright, so which is also true. The Philippine eagle kasi hindi naman nag-exist si Philippine eagle doon sa United States. United States also are known for having their bald eagle, yung kalbo na eagle nila. No, yung nakikita mo sa mga seal logo ng president ng United States, bald eagle sila. Philippines has the haribon or what you call yung tinatawag nating Philippine eagle or the monkey eating eagle. Alright? So, marami pa actually mga different examples there that I'll get to show a photo of them also. However, let's go to invasive. Invasive are not native from an area. Have you ever experienced or meron ba kayo na-encounter na mga, like for example, merong nagpapa-tree planting dito sa area natin, pero yung mga plants na tinatanim nila are actually not a native of this area here in Cordillera. Meron ba kayo na-experience na mga ganun? Have you ever heard? Na for example, tree planting daw dito sa atin, sa La Trinidad, pero yung plant nila mahogany. Have you ever heard of that one? Alright, I think so hindi Kasi mahogany is actually not able to survive the cold environment because mahogany is actually for the tropical areas sa medyo mainit sila. So, when you try to introduce something that is not native here in our area, alright, that is what you call your invasive species. Pag yung pine tree dinala mo doon sa Manila kasi mainit doon, hindi talaga mabubuhay si pine tree doon. And that is considered as an invasive species. Alright, so yan yung mga species classification natin. Alright, you get to see some few here. These are endemic species. Ito yung Palawan fruit bat. No? Ito yung paniki na kumakain ng fruits. Hindi ito yung mga vampire bat. Ito yung fruit bats. Ito yung mga kumakain ng mga prutas. I think this is the Palawan small kingfisher. No? Nakikita nyo kumakain ng fish or whatever that is in the bill. Ito, tinatawag nating kagwang. The flying lemur. No, this is the flying lemur. Ito yung parang mukhang squirrel na malapad or mukhang daga na malapad that they get to spread their arms and legs and they get to fly and hover. No? Ito yung flat-headed noses. I think this is found in Kalinga. Itong certain specific na palaka na ito, tukak na ito, no? And I think this is insect-eating bird na also is found in Palawan. Alright, so very rich ang Philippines in terms of the species that nag-exist sa Philippines. Ang daming pwedeng mag-exist sa Philippines because Philippines is actually a very, very rich in natural resources. Let's get to proceed. Aside from your species diversity, we have what you call also genetic diversity. It's just the variety of genes. Meron kayong makikita dito, meron tayong tinatawag na sweet corn, meron tayong corn na medyo purple yung kulay niya, meron tayong corn na medyo maliliit yung mga kernels na, but you get to see they are all still corns. Alright? Pero magkakaiba lang sila ng variety nila. Alright? Do you have any idea of other fruits or species or plants or animals that are actually the same, no? Na parehas sila na prutas pero magkakaiba sila ng variety. Can you think of something? Anybody?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. What about watermelon? Ano bang mga meron? Meron tayo yung yellow, no? Yung yellow na watermelon. Meron din tayo yung green skinned na watermelon, which is true. Tama 'yon, no? Ano pa kaya? Anything in mind? Yung common na nakikita nyo sa mesa natin.
Mango?
Mango? Alright, marami ding mango. Merong Indian mango, may apple mango, meron yung mango na yung pinapahinog, meron yung mango na kahit hinog green pa rin, yung tawag na evergreen. So, meron din yung mango na nasa gimaras, meron yung sinasabi ng Carabao mangoes. Alright, tama, mango. I have many different genetic diverse ang mango din. Ano pa?
Sure, apple.
Banana.
Alright, apple, yes, meron tayong yung tinatawag nating Fuji apple, the one that is really very crispy na Fuji apple. Meron din tayong tinatawag na yung American apple or the Enza apple, which is the reddish one, yung parang pinoportray ni Snow White na kinain niya, the very red one, no? Na medyo pag kinain mo, it's cottony. It's cottony compared to the Fuji apple, which is actually juicy and crispy. So, mayroong mga ganun. Tama. And last one, no, tama yon. Ito yung talagang gusto kong hinihintay na answer, banana. Kita natin, meron tayong bananang mataba, meron tayong bananang mahaba, may bananang maroon, may bananang green, may bananang yellow. So, meron, no? Ano ba yung maalam nyo, Kwan? Meron tayong lakatan, senyorita, bunggulan, meron tayong mga ganong mga different ones. So, this is actually a very good example of what you call your genetic diversity. Even strawberries, marami din. Alright? When you talk about this one, this is the last type of your diversity, ecosystem diversity. Sa Pilipinas, ang swerte natin because we have the ocean, we have the beach, and we have the mountains, we have the lake, we have the rivers, and those different stuff. Anybody who tried trekking or climbing Mount Pulag? Meron bang nakatry na sa inyo ng Mount Pulag sa Kabayan? Anybody? Meron? Wala? Ano kaya? I went to Mount Pulag, I think 2 years ago, last year yon, before COVID strikes, around November. And I was able to witness how majestic Mount Pulag is. Since I was quite an adventurous person that gets to try different yung mga magpagpapadagdag sa kwento ng buhay natin. So, yun nga, no? We decided na pumunta kami and climb Mount Pulag in Kabayan. But you get to see in Mount Pulag, meron siyang dalawang types of your ecosystem din. Pag nasa taas ka na, banda, you get to see that this picture here will show you that this is grassland. Grassland. Makita nyo walang puno, oh. Puro grasses lang. But sa gitna ng paanan ng butnok, sa gitnang banda, no, and even the foot of the mountain, you get to see meron tayong tinatawag na mossy forest. Maraming trees na doon, na maraming mga moss, no, itong mga greenish na kumakapit dito sa trees. And you get to see how diverse Mount Pulag is. Grassland on top and forest, mossy forest on the middle and even at the bottom of the mountain. Ito yung sinasabi nating ecosystem diversity. Alright, in Kabayan meron pang lake doon, no? So, yun yung isang maganda sa Pilipinas because of having a very diverse ecosystem. Alright, let's proceed. Alright, importance of biodiversity. Lesson 31. Are you still there? Okay pa kayo? Time check tayo.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Time check tayo. It's 10:33. Alright. Importance of biodiversity. Ano ba yung importansya nito? Bakit ko ba tinuturo ito? I myself, no, as a science teacher, have reflected lately, paano ko ba, how am I going to show and be an inspiration to my students on trying to take care of the community, the ecosystem, the environment. Kasi it's useless for me to teach this stuff and just be a hypocrite about it, no? Na ni si Sir nga kahit tinuturo niya, ito hindi niya naman ito ginagawa. But lately I get to realize, no? As a science teacher, I stopped using motorized vehicles, no? If possible, pwedeng magbike lang ako. I go biking already, no? Doing it Even medyo sumama malalayo na pupunta ko through biking. I don't expel out pollution and even have help about on my health kasi exercise din yung pa-bike. Whenever I go to trails, no, I'm really disappointed if I get to see trash on the trails that I get to pick them up and clean the trail kahit hindi ko basura yan. So ano bang importance ng biodiversity is the one that I'm actually sharing to you right now. We can try to compare high biodiversity and low biodiversity. Sino sa inyo ang nakasubok ng mag-scuba diving or mag-snorkeling? Anybody who tried? Who went to Pangasinan? Maybe went to 100 Islands? And tried swimming? Or hindi kayo marunong lumangoy? Anybody? Meron bang nakatry? Alright, siguro wala. Kasi, it is understandable for Cordillerans since we live in the mountains, then it's less for us to be able to experience this one. But I myself was born and growing in Mindanao until high school and even spending my college days in Visayas. Normal sa amin yung makapunta sa mga beach and just get to see this different stuff that are looking right now. Itong mga coral reef and different kinds of fish that you get to see underwater. And if the first time you get to see them and even meet Nemo underwater, it's so amazing to see that how diverse the sea is underwater. If you have the chance to be able to do this one, I recommend you to at least try this one once in your life. Alright? Maybe try to know how to swim first before you're going to do this one. Alright? Pero this is something na very amazing if you get to just see it by yourself na ang dami palang mga you get to meet underwater. Alright, so ito, high biodiversity. Makikita natin sa coral reef under the sea that you get to see that there are many different species living there. And even these mga seaweeds are still also considered as living things. Corals are considered as living things. Fish are considered as living things. Alright? So you get to see how diverse this is. And if ma-maintain natin yung diversity nila, no, that's the life under the sea is actually a very stable environment. However, if you're going to compare this one to a low biodiversity na area, sino bang nakapunta na sa Middle East dito sa atin? Baka merong galing ng abroad dito. Anybody has visited like Egypt, Cairo, UAE, Saudi? Kita nyo, no? You get to see the desert. In the desert, you get to see that this is an environment of very low biodiversity. You can just count how many species will survive here. Maybe snakes, maybe scorpions, maybe camels, maybe cactus, and maybe that's it. Ano pa bang pwedeng mabuhay dito? Konti lang. Will you survive here in this desert if you're given the chance to like build your house there for free? Will you live there? Gusto nyo?
Depende, sir.
Okay, sige. This is really very interesting. Depende. Bakit depende? Alright. Share mo man yung kan. Bakit depende? Ano yung nakadepend doon? That you'll agree yourself na, I will live there basta merong ano kaya? Bakit depende? Ano kaya?
Yung survival.
There's survival. But as I'm showing you to you right now, no, a desert is actually considered as a low biodiversity environment. Can you ikaw na taga Cordillera na nasanay ka sa lamig, kayanin mo kaya yung init diyan? Do you think you have a source of water there? Alright, so mga ganung mga bagay we'll consider. That's the reason why, as much as possible, we advocate high biodiversity rather than low biodiversity environment or ecosystem. Yan yung importansya ng biodiversity. Alright, let me proceed. Alright, ano bang benefits na makukuha natin? A stable environment. Alright? Paano kaya kung puro lang tao? Mabubuhay kaya yung earth? Hindi. Paano kung puro lang din trees? Walang animals, walang earthworm, walang oxygen, walang mga ganitong bagay, or walang nagbibigay ng carbon dioxide sa mga trees. Will the trees survive? Not also. That's the reason why the more different species there are, the better for it to be able to give and take yung mutual natin na mga relationship with others, no? Tayong mga human and animals, we expel out carbon dioxide. We breathe out carbon dioxide which plants need for them to be able to create their food. Without us, they will not survive. However, at the same time, the trees will give us oxygen. That's something that we need also for us to be able to live because we cannot live without an oxygen. Plants also can be used, no, for their products, like you can use them, trees can be used for wood that we create our shelter from, no? Some few animals, domesticated animals, can be our source of food. Chicken, pork, beef, even rabbits right now, kasi dahil sa ASF, no? Ginagawa ng karne yung rabbit. So, those different stuff, even fish. Kailangan natin mas diverse, mas maraming different species, mas stable ang ecosystem. Ano pa ba? Ito, nagbibigay sila ng oxygen, food, shelter, medicine, fiber for paper, and clothing. So, sinabi ko na yan. Biodiversity provides natural defenses. Defense. Do you know the name of this tree na nasa picture ngayon? Anybody has an idea what's the name of this tree that is actually being rooted, no, underwater sa beach area, if you get to see them before? Ano kaya pangalan nito? Any idea, the name of this tree? Anybody?
Sir, guess.
Sige, guess. Sige, go. Ano?
Beetroot.
No. It starts with letter M. Starts with
Sir, mangrove.
Alright, very good. The name is mangrove, no? Hindi kayo siguro masyadong naka-witness ng ganitong type of tree. Pero sa Mindanao kasi kung saan ako lumaki, common ito sa amin. If you get to see, the mangrove is really a very important tree, especially on the beach area, is because underwater, nakikita nyo itong isang picture dito kasi nangingitlog yung mga fish para mas dumami sila. Pagbahayan ng mga fish. Right? However, at the same time, this protects us from the barrier na pag merong mga typhoon at malalakas ang alon, pinoprotektahan niya actually yung mga those who are living beside the beach at merong mga mangrove sa harap is actually considered as a natural defense of big waves during typhoons. Just imagine how diverse would be Earth is, and you get to see free natural defenses that we can get from them. Now, what if, for example, we get to cut them all? No? Nawawala yung mga depensa natin, nawawala yung bahay ng mga fish, hindi sila mangingitlog, at hindi sila dadami. Makikita natin later on yung bad effects na kung hindi natin we didn't take care of them. Let's continue. Biodiversity prevents landslide. Mas marami tayong trees sa mountains, the more chance that water will be absorbed by the trees, no, causing landslide. Common sa atin dito ang landslide, no? If you can still remember, the last landslide that happened was in Itogon because of a certain typhoon before. I forgot na. Pero bakit kayo nangyayari doon? Because you get to see, nakakalbo na yung mga bundok natin. Alright. So, ano bang mga disadvantage, no, na nangyayari? Bakit bumababa yung mga biodiversity natin dito sa ating area or the world as a whole or Earth as a whole? Habitat loss and destruction, deforestation, mining, irresponsible fishing practices, and even pollution. Makita nyo, no? Kawawa yung mga deer dito. It's because wala na silang pwedeng pagbahayan under the tree or maybe even their source of their food. Deers are actually really fond of apples. Sa Canada kasi maraming apple tree doon, nalalaglag lang yung mga prutas, kaya itong mga normal na pag pumunta ka doon at merong apple tree na malapit sa inyo, deers will just go there and eat those fallen apples. Alright, so just imagine if there's no more trees, source of their food. Overexploitation, sorry hindi ko nalagay ito, but for example would be, ang sinasabi lang ng overexploitation is overharvesting. No? I will explain that one more later on about overfishing. Invasive species, hindi ko pala nalagyan to ng picture. Introduction of invasive species of organism in ecosystem affects the native species of the habitats. Alright, let's say for example, dito sa atin, medyo nauubos na yung mga pine trees natin kasi yung mga bundok natin minsan ginagawa na nilang subdivision, pinapatayuan na nila ng condominium, and even you know the issue of SM before? Have you ever heard of the issue of SM before?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anong issue doon?
Yung tree.
Alright, so si SM was planning to improve their mall by trying to make 4 stories, 5 stories of the parking area. However, as a consequence, they need to cut down those 43 pine trees that is found in that hill. Luneta Hill kasi yung tawag natin dyan sa pinagtayuan ng SM. Now, many advocates of environment were really very dismayed about what happened because is this how we try to find development? Yes, no? As people would like development and progress, kailangan nating mag-develop. But is it worth it that we need to sacrifice trees for it? No kayong ma-opinion nyo about it? Pag kayo binigyan ng opinion, is it worth it? Na i-sacrifice natin yun just for development and progress?
No, sir.
Alright, so you reserve your answer because yun yung activity nyo later on. Alright. For invasive species kasi, there was this one time na sinabi ng isang instructor ko, who is a graduate of UP, na dito sa Cordillera kasi naubos na yung mga pine trees, kailangan nating mag-tree planting or mag-replant para maiwasan natin yung landslide, no? But, a group was suggesting that instead of pine trees, because pine trees may take how many years for them to fully grow, that's the reason why I'm advocating you to plant those trees on areas where they can grow well, no? Instead of pine trees daw, ang gagamitin, kawayan. Alam niyo yung kawayan, yung bamboo? Yeah, alam niyo yun? Alright, I think nakapunta na kayo.
Yes, sir.
Alright, nakapunta na rin kayo sa mga kawayan na mga yung area sa Baguio, no? But the point is that, is kawayan native here in our area? Native ba sila dito sa atin?
Yes, sir.
Are they? Talaga bang
Sir, nakita ko.
Alright, there are some few areas, especially even in Asin and even in Sablan, that they tawag nito, ano bang tawag niyan? Naturally nabubuhay sila. Pero yung napupuntahan nyo ng mga areas dyan sa Baguio City na pinagpipicturean nyo doon sa parang bambuish na area na yon, that's actually hindi po yan natural na tumubo lang dyan. Talagang tinanim nila yan dyan, yung bamboo sanctuary na yan. So it's not actually native na tumubo lang dyan, but tinanim yan ng mga tao. The point is that bamboo is actually not a native here in our area. That if we're going to replace bamboo from the pine trees, bamboo is actually a grass. Ang alam natin yung mga grass, yung mga damo, mabilis silang tumubo. Tapos hindi sila basta-bastang namamatay. Now, if you get to plant bamboo beside a pine tree, makikipagkompetensya yan ng mga nutrients na nakukuha nila sa soil. To the point that later on, mas dadami itong mga bamboo kasi mas mabilis lang mag-grow at kukonti na yung pine trees kasi hindi na magsusurvive si pine tree, baka mamamatay na lang along the way as it grows. Later on, ang Baguio City hindi na City of Pines, baka later on City of Bamboo na siya. That's the reason why we get to be careful on what we're trying to plant in an area na hindi siya invasive. Dapat yung pinaplant natin sa isang area, dapat native siya dyan. Huwag kang magtanim ng mahogany dito sa area natin kasi hindi native si mahogany dito. Alright? Maraming mahogany sa La Union, pero wala ata talagang mahogany dito sa area natin. So something like that. Invasive. Hindi sila not native dito sa area natin. Alright, that's just some few example. Ano pa bang nangyayari? Climate change. Alam natin yung climate change, global warming, no? Yung umiinit yung mga natin and mga effects na ito. Alright, so much with this one because I know pretty well that you know already more about this climate change. And ano bang pwede nating gawin para tumulong? Biodiversity conservation refers to protection, reinforcement, and management of biodiversity. So, last lesson. Nag-skip ako agad sa lesson 37. I'm not going to discuss anymore the others. Dito na tayo diretso sa human activities affecting the ecosystem. Deforestation, alam nyo na yan. Di ko nasabihin. Desertification, sabi ko nga, in a desert, it's low biodiversity. And just imagine, ano kayang pwedeng mabuhay dito sa desert? Ano kayang pwedeng mabuhay dito sa picture na ito? Pati tubig nga, ang hirap maghanap eh. Kasi yung tubig dito, gold. Ganun siya ka-precious. Alright. Ano pa? Overfishing. If you have friends or relatives who are in Pangasinan or La Union who are actually into fishing, alam niyo sa overfishing kasi, hindi natin pwedeng fish lang tayo ng fish. We need to give time for the fish to be able to cycle out and reproduce first for them to be able nga pwede silang dumami ulit, saka tayo ulit mag-harvest. Hindi po pwedeng harvest lang. There is also a rule for us to follow in terms of how big the holes of the net are. Kasi pag maliit yung holes ng net na yan, pati yung maliliit na isda na sana lumaki pa lang, nakukuha, nakakapture, and later on, nauubos na yung mga isda natin, it could lead to what you call your extinction. Ganon po. Dapat hindi natin sila basta-basta na i-harvest lang anytime that you like. Because we need to also give time for them to be able to reproduce and grow in numbers again, and that time for us to harvest them. No? Allow them to reproduce para dumami din sila. No? Paano kaya pag tao din? Overhuman. Hinarvest ka ng harvest, hindi makahabol yung reproduction. So, yun, no? Ganon din yung idea niyan. Pollution, process of adding too many harmful substances to the environment. Air pollution, we have this soil pollution, we have also water pollution, what is happening on Balili, no? That they're asking for volunteers on, I think, March 17 to help out, no? And clean Balili River. Alright, so pollution. Kasi this is actually the effect of development. We want to develop. Yes, we want to develop, but the problem is, no, along with the development, meron siyang mga negative effects, the pollution. So how can we minimize this one? Ito yung mahirap. So ano ba pwede natin gawin? Reforestation. That's the reason why I'm advocating you to do it also on your own. Now, as I've mentioned last time, no, I have a friend who always plants one tree whenever it's her birthday. As young as you are right now, you're around 13, 14 years old. No, that you may live more and maybe start doing that one also as parang a gift to nature. That whenever you have your birthday, plant one tree. Next year naman, pag ma-birthday ka ulit, plant another tree. Do you think it's a nice idea? Do you consider it a nice idea? Yung ganito? Hello? Are you still there? Alright, yung ganun, no? Just plant. Alright? We have also mga ginagawa ng mga governmental organizations and even non-governmental organizations who are actually doing what you call your biodiversity conservation program. Gumagawa sila ng mga law, mga rules, regulations for us to conserve, no, yung biodiversity natin. We have also what you call your biotechnology, no? Environmental biotechnology. Ito yung sinasabi lang biodegradation, bioremediation, bioconversion. They're trying to use science, no, for them to be able to at least maintain good biodiversity in a certain area. Kaya, ayun, yan yun na yung last po. Medyo binilisan ko kasi para hindi kayo I will not steal much of your time. So before I get to end this one, you still have questions? Questions?
No, sir.
Alright. Sige, punta tayo sa output. As an output for this lesson, kasi konti lang yung pinagawa kong mga output nyo dito sa 4th quarter, gawa kayo ng essay. It is only in essay that I may be able to get to know you better, because then again sa mga exams, the quizzes that I sent to you did not have any essay. Wala akong pinagawang essay. Alright? Aside from the performance task that you are to plant the tree and have a reflection about the thing that you're doing. So, what were you feeling that time when you were planting the tree? What do you think will be the effect when you're doing that one in the future? Ano ba yung effect niya sa future? Mga ganong mga tanong. You need to reflect on, is it something na mahirap ba? Is it something beneficial ba? Napagod ba ako doon? So, just write anything about that planting of the tree, which is your performance task. But this is another activity, output for this lesson. You are to write essay by answering the guide question that is actually here in the naka-green. Do not answer it in an enumeration type. Rather, you need to form a paragraph to create a substantial essay with around 200 to 300 words. I want you to become articulate in a certain topic. Gusto kong maging articulate kayo. Kasi dito ko malalaman kung yung galing nyo, actually. No? You'll be able to express your idea. Now, if you can like to typewrite that one by using a laptop, pwede din. If you don't have the device, you can do handwriting. No? I may include this one as best essays as part of the Festival of Talents output. I may choose, tapos, natin, let's award, let's show the world your output, no, na kaya nyong gumawa ng ganito. Alright? So you need to do your best, and you can search ideas in the internet, but then no copy pasting from Google. I will always know about this one. So ano bang question? Alright, this is the question. Both governments and individuals are spending big amounts of money protecting animals, their habitat, the forest, or Mother Earth as a whole. The money could be better spent dealing with fundamental issues right now in the society, such as poverty or yung kahirapan, and healthcare. Right now, we are facing fight against COVID-19. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Any question about the question? Any clarifications that you want to know about the question?
Sir, pwedeng dalawa?
Anong pwedeng dalawa? Yung what do you have in mind? To what extent do you agree or disagree? So either mag-agree ka and disagree, you'd like to, yun, ilagay mo yung idea. Pwede yun. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng question nito? Right? I'd like you to listen about this question. Sa question na kasi ito, this is about government and even individuals who are rich or trying to support the protection of the environment. Pero ang sinasabi ng question na ito, mayroon pa tayong mas importanteng hinaharap ngayon na poverty and even healthcare or yung problema natin sa COVID-19. So, the question is asking you na dapat yung pera natin i-prioritize natin sa poverty and healthcare rather than doon sa protecting of the animals, habitats, the forest, or the environment or the earth as a whole. Would you agree or would you disagree? You need to also at least explain why. Nagets niyo yung question? Ano ba para sa inyo? Would you agree na mas dapat yung pera papunta sa poverty and healthcare rather than doon sa environment. Or some of you may agree na dapat doon sa environment, pwede namang ihabol yung poverty and healthcare na yan eh. Right? That's actually the dilemma or the problem that you are to choose and you are to explain kung saan kayong side dyan. Again, wala pong right or wrong answers for this one. That's the reason why I'm allowing you to express your mind, what's on your mind yourself about this question. Do you understand the question?
Understood, sir.
Merong nag-no? Sino yung nag-no? Alright, yun lang. Again, ba Ilocanok ba? O Tagalog ko ba? O Chinese ko ba? Nati kan. Alright. Si government kasi talagang tutulong 'yan para dapat sa tao, no? But si government, marami siyang mga problemang hinaharap. Problema sa health ngayon, which is the fight of COVID-19. Problema ng mga tao sa kahirapan kasi nga dahil sa COVID-19, walang masyadong trabaho yung mga tao, naghihirap yung mga tao. Meron din siyang problema about the environment, pollution, nauubos na yung mga animals natin, even animals are actually having disease called the ASF, yung mga ganon. Yung mga environment natin na nakakalbo na yung mga bundok, nagkukos ng landslide. So, marami siyang isyong hinaharap yung mga government natin. Pero, ano ba dapat ang i-prioritize ng government? Kung binigyan ka ng chance na pumili, no? Ano ang i-prioritize mo? Poverty and healthcare or protecting the environment? Yan po ang question na parang simple question, the main idea of this question. Do you now understand? Do you now understand? Paano kung ikaw yung presidente? Anong unahin mo? Poverty or healthcare or yung environment? Yan yung pagpipilian yung i-defend nyo. Kung nakapili naman kayo, i-defend nyo. Alright? So, 200 to 300 words. I think that is just ilang paragraphs lang yan. 3, 4 paragraphs lang yan. 200 to 300 words na yan. Di bali, may word count naman, no? Pag if you're using Word for that case. Questions?
None, sir.
Sure. Yung mga iba dyan na tahimik since day 1 pero nagjo-join. I'd like to hear your voices. Are you still there? Okay pa ba kayo dyan? The same people are responding to me. Kanina 17, naging 15 na lang. Nawala pala yung mga iba. But then again, okay. Do you understand the question already? Do you have any concerns about from the first to the fourth quarter? Concerns, anybody? Concerns? Wala tayong concern dyan. Alright, so just be reminded of the things that I'm asking you to do para hindi na kayo matabunan ng mga activities if you're going to be introduced to a new set of subjects by the 5th batch. I'm also encouraging you to join yung mga activities natin. Alright, so yan. But, allow me to give my parting words to you that even we're not able to, sana kung pwede lang mag-on kayo ng mga tawag nito, mag-on kayo ng mga cameras nyo kasi I may know you by name but I never seen you face to face. Some of you I may know already before during the face to face, meron palang face to face, pero some of you I may not know only by name. So parang this is my chance to be able to as my parting words for you kasi ito na yung last discussion natin. I'd like to thank you for being loyal and being here most of the time na meron akong at least audience sa ginagawa kong synchronous discussion. It's really very hard for me to just be talking on myself right now if wala kayo. Thank you very much for giving your time, doing your best, your effort for science, no? I hope that hindi ko kayo pinahirapan sa mga activities nyo. I hope that you get to at least learn something from me, that you can be able to use this one in your real life situation, that maybe in the future you get to be reminded of me na tinuro ito ni sir ganito ganyan. So, yun lang, no? Yun lang yung gusto kong sabihin, that despite what we are facing right now, yes, meron na tayong uh, mga vaccine na niro-roll out. Some of you may have uh, tawag nito, may have this doubt about magpapavaccine ba ako o hindi. But as a nurse, at the same time a teacher, I'm encouraging you to, pag merong chance na may vaccination, please do so. Magpa-vaccinate tayo. Let's always believe in science. Na science can be something that is be trusted, kasi the government, politics will always put a shade of a doubt there. Sinabi nila, Sinovac has a 50% of efficacy. So, hindi ka sure kung magkakaroon ka ng immunity or not. But the 50% is already a very big chance of you having an immunity, rather than kung hindi ka nagpa-vaccine, it's actually 0%. Would you rather get that would you rather bite the chance of having a 50% rather than a 0%? Personally, kakagitin ko na yung 50%. AstraZeneca has 70 to 90% of efficacy. Moderna is also coming over already in the Philippines. So, whatever vaccine that is that we have there, encouraging you to at least yun, no? Basta wala lang kayong mga underlying conditions like other diseases that you already have, no? Encourage you to go vaccine. Go take your vaccine. Alright? Miss Longshab, kumusta dyan sa Japan? How are they doing the vaccination? Are you already vaccinated ba?
Sir, no. Pero yung mga ibang students here, naka-vaccines na po. Especially po yung mga younger ones.
Younger ones. How about you? Bakit hindi ka, is it your choice na hindi ka magpa-vaccine, or nag-offer sila na magpa-vaccine sa'yo? Did they offer?
Sir, wala pa naman po.
Wala. Pero if given the chance that they will offer, will you take?
Yes, sir.
Anong narinig mong type of vaccine na binibigay ni Japan? Is it Moderna? Is it AstraZeneca? Is it Pfizer? What do you hear there, the news dyan sa Japan?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Alright. Pero I believe Japan is not a fan of China, kaya hindi sila, I think, kukuha ng Sinovac or Sinopharm. But then again, given the chance, ang swerte ng developed country na Japan, kasi at least sa inyo dyan, even though kahit nagkakon ka lang, nagstay ka lang, I think plano nila is kung makuha nila yung herd immunity na buong population ng Japan, around 80% lahat naka-vaccine. Given the chance na umabot na lahat ng population na 80% naka-vaccine, pwede nang bumalik sa old normal. And the Philippines, we're targeting also around 70 to 80% ng buong population ng Pilipinas ang nagpa-vaccine. Saka pwede nang i-resume lahat na pwede na tayong mag-travel, pwede na tayong hindi siguro mag-mask or something like that. But just be careful na, to give you an idea, kahit na vaccinate ka, pwede ka pa ring maging positive. Alright? Pwede ka pa ring maging positive, pwede ka pa ring humawa sa iba. Alright? You can be able to transmit that virus to your relatives or not. But what does the vaccine do to you is to protect you from the very, very severe symptoms of COVID-19. Parang labas mo niyan, parang sinisipon ka na lang. Maging positive ka, pero parang regular na lang siya na sipon. Ganun siya. So, wag masyadong maging kumpiyansa na dahil na-vaccinate ako, hindi ako magkaka-COVID. Pwede ka pa rin mag-COVID, pero protektado ka na sa severe na mga symptoms ni COVID. To the point of, at some point yun na nga, parang sipon na lang na hindi ka naman mamamatay basta-basta doon. Nang ganun. So, you can still transmit the virus even if you are vaccinated. You can still be positive, but then you are still protected of the very severe symptoms of COVID-19. So then again, I'm just giving you what I know, share to you na at least, alam nyo yung mangyayari right now. Then again, hinahabol natin for the whole population of the Philippines, 70 to 80% of the population, herd immunity ang tawag natin dyan, ina-achieve natin yan. So, employees from Benguet Gen and Baguio Gen already have the rollout of the first dose kasi meron pang second dose yan after a month, I think. So, I'm encouraging you to at least given the chance, pag meron na, pwede na sa mga civilians, pwede na sa mga younger ones, sa students, go. Tayo, right? Huwag tayong matakot. Alright, so then again, I'd like to thank you very much once again for continuing to join this class from the start to the end. I hope that you get to continue doing your activities for the whole week, for the rest of the days of the week, para pwede na akong gumawa ng grades and I can now upload your grades to the CCDC that yung pagkitaan nyo ng grades. Alright? So, thank you very much, no? Kita-kita tayo kung saan man tayo later on makikita sa daan, and sana let's get to hope and pray that everyone is safe. The hope and pray na pwede tayong makikita-kita ulit face to face. Nami-miss niyo ba yung face to face na class? Do you miss it?
Sir.
I actually badly miss it also kasi gusto ko talagang yun yung mga dating mahilig na mag-absent, nag-absent, ayaw pumunta ng school. Ngayon, meron kayong more than 1 year na parang ayaw nung gusto nung pumunta ng school. Ngayon, excited kayong bumalik yung face-to-face. So, how ironic that is. Yeah? So, once again, thank you very much for joining and we'll see each other once again. So, it's 11:11. Make a wish. And we're going to... So, any concern, just PM me. Alright? Thank you very much. I'll be ending this one. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.